I remember I would get on the bus and I would wear this cat shirt, and like nobody even knew it was a musical. Like that's how far away from this I grew up. And there was this one girl on the back of the bus who she wasn't really a bully, but like she was like a aspiring comedian because she is very, very funny now in her real life. But I remember like I would come on the bus and I was like so insecure and I was not out yet and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And she was like, "Oh, look at that boy got cats on his shirt. You like cat boy?" And she was trying to make a like vagina pun.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so uncomfortable. I was like, my favorite thing has betrayed me. We must never wear this again.
It's Broadway, bitch.
Hello, welcome back to a very special edition of It's Broadway, Bitch. We've got producer Mike in the producer chair.
He's here and he's in the chair.
Oh my God, and my guest. We are, full disclosure, this is Monday morning. The Tonys are on Sunday, and we have a very exciting Tony nominee, the co-director of Cats, also the director of Chicken and Biscuits on Broadway. I'm going to read a couple more. Tina, wonderful town, Hadestown in South Korea, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Table 17, you are an Obie Award winner. I have Zhailon Levingston here. Yay!
Good to see you.
I'm so excited that we could sneak this in because I know
Yeah.
that this is like, it's exhausting leading up to Tony's, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. But it's the best kind of exhaustion.
Exactly.
Right? It's not like the exhaustion from the minds, but it's just like, it's another kind of job to like stay out there and stay open and shake the hands and kiss the babies. Mm-hmm. And I just happen to be so introverted as a person. So it just, it zaps me, but I'm good at it.
It is zapping when you have to like just smile and be like,
Answer the same questions, do that whole thing.
So what was your inspiration?
Exactly.
But no, this is kind of like, it's a very exciting thing because I know you have talked a million times about not even expecting this to like hit. Like how you were like, you guys were both like, what? Like people are like, you tried it with every audience. So like this was probably not what you foresaw happening.
No. And I think like the job in front of us was just so hard. Like you can't really think past just trying to make it coherent. You know what I mean? And so I always tell people that like I did not believe when we were off Broadway, I did not believe the first audience reaction because it was like, it's invited dress, so it's family and friends. I was like, this is family and friends. Yeah. Everyone's being nice, whatever. But wait until there's a Friday night paying audience on that first preview.
Yeah.
Okay, first preview comes, people are kind of like losing their minds, and I'm like, yeah, but it's Friday night. It's the first preview. Everyone's excited. You wait until there's a matinee.
You wait till that Wednesday. Right. You wait till that Sunday matinee.
You wait till that Sunday matinee. Wait till, no offense, but the blue hairs get there.
Get the old biddies in there.
And you'll see. You'll see.
You'll see
really
this is fake.
And then it was like the loudest, older crowd I had ever heard. And I was like, maybe it's good.
Dude, you guys, you made Cats cool again, which I know that you're a Cats fan. Mm-hmm. So you always were Cats is cool.
Well, I was a Cats is cool when I was in second grade.
Sure.
And in the few years around that, and then I was like, Cats is not cool.
Yeah, okay.
Because it wasn't cool to say that I knew all the words from Cats, so Cats was not cool.
You just wake up every day, get ready for school, and you look in your closet filled with Cats shirts. You're like, one day,
if only
I can
they
do
were
this again.
Full of Cat shirts. It was more like there's one sweatshirt you won't stop wearing.
Yes, there's the Cat sweatshirt with the holes in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I would get on the bus and I would wear this Cat shirt, and like nobody even knew it was a musical. Like that's how far away from this I grew up. And there was this one girl on the back of the bus who she wasn't really a bully, but like she was like a aspiring comedian because she is very, very funny now in her real life. But I remember like I would come on the bus and I was like so insecure and I was not out yet and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And she was like, "Oh, look at that boy got cats on his shirt. You like cat boy?" And she was trying to make a like vagina pun. Yeah. And I just remember being so uncomfortable. I was like, my favorite thing has betrayed me. We must never wear this again.
Inside out next time.
And so and also like you grow up and you're like, I have to be into the serious things and I want to do Mother Courage and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, Mother Courage! That is a blast from theater major past.
That's right.
the most boring long play that has ever been
Yeah.
in existence. Did you ever have to read Mother Courage?
I wasn't that far into
Okay,
theater.
yeah.
Mine ended at high school until
It's-
professional.
And
Yeah, I skipped all of it.
You stopped at
Yeah.
Seussical.
I did, yeah. I stopped at Blood Brothers.
No, but I do think that is something that the kids have got right these days. I feel like, because I don't know if we're similar ages or what, like I'm, in my early 40s, but it's like, but you're probably younger than me, huh?
I am.
You are younger than me, okay.
I didn't want to take the conversation there, but I am 31.
But as I said it, I go, he's not my age. He's fucking younger than me. But I guess, okay, so, but let's go from 30s to 40s, okay?
Yeah.
I do feel like similar ways to grow up where you do kind of feel like you have to follow the crowd, where I feel
Yes.
like kids now are very themselves. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a little bit more. I mean, I always say this, they get to decorate their pimples with stickers. Like, I missed school.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
You know what I
that's
mean?
happening.
Like, they're
Yeah.
putting stickers. They're putting star
Yeah.
stickers. Like, the confidence that these
Yeah.
kids get to have these days, which I feel like,
It makes you want to have acne.
babe, I wish I had. Give me my 44-year-old
Right.
acne. I want to put a star on
You know
it.
you can just
Star
put
sticker.
stars on your face. You
I
can,
know.
because it's hiding it. You can
I
just
know.
go, pimple.
Not me going into Sephora the other day looking for that little star stamper. It's like you can do fake freckles, and now they have ones where you can put fake glitter stars.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I am a mother of two. I should probably. I'm glad you guys are out of it, you know.
Yeah,
But I do feel, yeah, growing up, you felt like you had to kind of be into if I'm into theater, I have to be theater.
And I mean, I went to I loved my high school, but I didn't go to like a performing arts high
Right,
school.
right, right.
I went to
I
a
think I
high
read
school
that.
where it was like, there are the jocks, and there are the cheerleaders, and there are the nerds, and there are it was very High School Musical in that way.
Very
like,
much,
we were
yeah.
Very, or Grease or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Like you said, it wasn't a musical theater high school, but you just referenced it's just like two very musical theater movies.
Yes, touche. Well, yes. And I kind of loved that.
Yeah.
And my little like undiagnosed neurodivergent brain then was like, okay, I will capture everything from this group, and then I will learn everything from this group, and I will learn everything, and so I really wanted to be on trend and not
Sure.
but I just always was odd. But yeah, you're right. Like it was about like the group. What is the group doing?
What is
What
the
group are
group
you
doing?
in? What group are you going to prom with? Who's the homecoming group?
Yeah.
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 Where do you sit at the football game? What group are you going to be in?
The Mother Courage group at the football game.
You know what I'm saying?
They were under the bleachers.
You know?
Rolling joints and making out with each other. That's the theater crowd. But I want to talk about revivals in general, because obviously this is like, it is a revival, and I was reading all these fascinating things about, and I have so many questions about, how you couldn't do anything with the music, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a question about that. But I want to know, like, what do you think makes some revivals feel necessary and some just dusty? Like, why? Like, this obviously is current and is striking a note with a lot of people, but like that's not always the case with revivals.
Yeah, and it could have been bad.
For sure.
When
Yeah.
I first started this journey, I knew like pretty immediately, if this works, everyone will know. And if this doesn't work, everyone will know. And that was very clear to me from the very beginning. So I think that just a good idea does not do it alone.
Right.
Like ultimately you just have to make a really good show. And I think when it comes to a revival, part of the event, part of why people are coming is for you to answer the question, why this again?
Why this again? Yeah.
And so long as there's an answer to that question, for some shows it's like, why this again? Because finally there's another performer who can step into this role and make it a new event. Why this again? Because there's a director who has a brand new take on something, and I must call strangers into a room to see this take. Why this again? Because the moment finally has met the material, and maybe it didn't work in 72.
Sure.
But now in 2014, we finally are ready for it. So there can be multiple answers to the question, why now?
Yeah.
But I think in general, like my job as a director is to answer the question, why have you called me here? And that question is I think even more important when it is a revival.
Yeah, and to your point too, that question of why again isn't always answered.
Right.
Sometimes you just go, oh, again.
Yeah. You
know.
wanted to do that.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's been 10 years. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting because yes, this definitely is turning something on its head. And I know you are a co-director. It's Bill Rauch as well, which is so, like in your fever dream of being like, I want to do Cats without cats. Did you ever think that somewhere else in the universe there was going to be somebody else also reimagining Cats, and that you guys would come together and share this experience?
No, because I didn't even think me thinking about that was possible.
Right.
Like I didn't even think, like I was joking. You know, I was just like letting
like Cats
my
without
brain
cats?
free associate.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like the story goes, long story short, I had been joking with my friend about this. And then I was directing a show at Second Stage. The casting director, Victor Vasquez, was there. We got drinks afterwards, and I was trying to joke with him about this thing.
He said, hey, there's this other guy.
He was like not laughing about it.
Yeah.
And
you know who you should meet?
it
One
was
of those.
definitely that.
But like that's so like how could anybody have ever guessed that there were all these people that were interested in making Cats something completely different
Yeah.
based on like a kind of a thing that you're like, this is not a thing.
Yeah, he was like, Bill Rauch is trying to do a production of Cats that marries it with ballroom. And I immediately knew, not that it would work, but that it could work. And if it did work, then it would be my kind of thing. And I knew immediately I needed to be implicated in this.
Yes.
And so
me
2
in there.
days later, we were on a Zoom, and after 2 hours, we were co-directors.
So how does it work? Like, tell me about sharing a show. Like, what
Yeah.
is the responsibilities for each of you in these when you share a show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very personalized to the pair.
Sure.
I will say I typically don't co-direct a show once the train is already moving, and like, so if it's already had a production or if it's already had a couple of workshops, like to come in and co-direct is not that interesting to me. But to walk into the scariest part of the process with someone hand in hand, that is interesting to me.
For sure.
And on that Zoom, I think what was most important was not even necessarily what we said about Cats, but what we believed about process.
Yeah.
Our kind of ethos about what's possible in a rehearsal room.
Sure.
A very, very, very similar temperament.
I mean, it feels like it has to be. It has to be a good relationship.
So it is like
yes.
It was like swiping, matching, and then it being correct.
And moving from the DMs to phone numbers to be like, I
Totally,
think we
really
can get along
quickly.
well enough to direct Cats.
Yeah. And I mean, I love collaboration, and I love to talk it out, and I love to, and directing can be a really lonely quest.
Yeah.
And so to be on a process where you actually never are alone, at 11:30, I can call and be like, okay, so what if? And that what if doesn't have to like haunt me to bed.
And they pick up in one ring because they're also up going.
Oh,
Yeah.
What if,
totally.
what if?
Totally.
Yeah.
Hoping that the phone rings
Yeah.
or, vice versa.
How great. That's really nice.
If they call and you pick up immediately, like, thank God, because I have also.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, I think the process is really about whatever you have to do to start to read each other's minds.
Ooh.
Because that's what's the most fun about any relationship. That's the most fun about having a best friend, is looking over on the other side of the room.
And knowing what they're
and
thinking.
knowing.
Yes.
And like that is fun. And so it's a race to get there, and whatever it takes to get there. You know?
Yeah. And now, how much did you know about ballroom before you did this? Or was this like anything?
I knew like very rudimentary level, obviously I had like seen Paris is Burning many, many times.
Yeah.
I had, watched Pose, I had watched Legendary. So like I knew what a commercial audience maybe would know coming in. And what I didn't know was all of the elements that still are quite underground, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I had a access point to like the history, but not so much what it is presently.
Yeah, is there
like,
still a scene?
It's totally still a scene, and
Really?
it's interesting because there's now the kind of commercial or not even commercial, but like, what do you call it? mainstream
Yeah.
elements
Sure.
of ballroom,
Yeah.
and there is still the underground elements of ballroom, and there
Yeah.
are still houses, and there are still mothers, and there are still fathers, and there are still and now they have what they call kiki houses, which are like
Yeah.
younger houses led by younger parents, and it's as vibrant and as complicated and as complex
Yeah.
and as competitive as it ever has been. And I think what's really important to say is it's as more international than ever.
I was just about to ask if this is something that is like New York, like only in New York.
It's definitely not only New York. And, a lot of the heartbeat
Yeah.
of what, the nation might know about ballroom
Yeah.
started here. But like our team, like our associate director, Naomi, and our choreographers, they travel all around the world teaching ballroom masterclasses, teaching voguing, and teaching and like actually extending their houses to other places in the world as well. So
Yeah.
it's a huge, fascinating network.
Yeah.
And I think part of what makes it special is that it still has its underground components.
Well, yeah.
I remember when I saw the play, I saw your take on it, and then I'm watching the Junior, but I didn't realize, because I had seen Paris is Burning a couple of times. I got my wife into it, and she's like, and we're watching, going, why do we know this? Like this guy, there's something, and then we realized he was from.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like it was
Yeah.
so like, to me, there's the idea that there were people from the documentary, which were from the scene, then implement, and then you had in the show was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I
like what a
mean-
great story.
Yeah.
Junior LaBeija, unbelievable. And then like huge shout out to the casting director, Victor
Yeah.
Vasquez, because
Yep.
he was so rigorous as we were creatively. He was rigorous about making sure that a show about this community was told with this community,
And authentic,
that
yeah.
it wouldn't be easy to find,
For sure.
and to just like be bold enough to try to find Junior LaBeija and ask him to come into a thing that we knew he probably would have a ton of questions about.
Yeah.
And it just he was willing, and he came to that first workshop, and he kept coming back and kept coming back. And so it was a long casting process,
That's
but
gotta feel like a win.
it feels like a huge win.
Do you know what I mean? To be like, okay,
Yeah.
we're making this thing as, for us, but as also as like a love letter, and the fact that you are so deeply ingrained in this and you do want to be a part of it means like we're doing something right.
Yeah.
We're doing something right.
When Junior was in the early stages, would you like kind of side eye looking like, hey, is Junior still here? Did he leave? Oh, he's still here. Okay, okay.
Definitely
Is he
wanted to
dancing?
like
Every time
Is it
that
cool?
Junior walk in the door, you're like, okay, we're on to something. every day.
Yeah, I mean he's unbelievably observant, which makes sense because his role in the scene was that of the MC, that of the person who has to keep the event going and know exactly what's going on at any moment. And so there would be moments where Junior would come to every rehearsal, even if he wasn't called, and he would just sit in the corner and he would watch, and then ever so often he would go, "Excuse me, can I say something?" And then I was like, yes,
Please speak.
And then much like the show, in a lot of moments, like we would all just kind of gather around, and he would see a spark of something that inspired him, and then he would go off. And there
Yeah.
would be a 10-minute tangent of history and critique
awesome.
and questions and stories, and it would be a lot, and then he would just retreat back to where he was.
And everyone was like shell shocked.
Okay, let's take 5 and we'll come back and
Let's process
try it
all
better.
that. Yes. Let's all come back a bit better than we were 5 minutes ago.
What's the is there like a knee brace budget for that show?
Ooh,
I'm
whatever
curious
it
because it's
is.
just like death drop after death drop, and I understand like when you're in that world, it's like part of, when you're doing construction, you have to worry about your elbows.
Yeah.
But like, just looking at it hurts me.
I still understand.
So I got to wonder,
That's
like,
right.
how many ice packs do you guys have back there? Like, what are we talking
Physical
about?
therapist
We have a
behind
physical
stage?
therapist
Good.
that is there like every day. Like,
Good.
Of
and,
course.
and even then, like it's a real conversation for
Yeah.
our industry.
Yes.
As these shows get more and more and more athletic, what you're really watching is both a piece of artistic expression and an unbelievably athletic event. I remember when I was a resident director on Tina, and I would say that like working with Adrienne Warren is yes working with an artist, but it's also working with Serena Williams, who has to do Wimbledon every night.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so
gotta take care of that.
It's intense, and so it would be hard for anyone who was used to doing 8 shows a week, and it's hard for people who aren't used to that. You know, it just is a hard thing, and so, you know, our cast is unbelievably strong, but they also are paying a really high cost to do this work.
Yeah.
And we're all learning what it takes, and I'm sure that whatever that third company is of the show will have all of the lessons of everyone who has come before.
Yes.
And, you know, hopefully, you know, things just get better and better in terms of the maintenance of, you know, that kind of a show. But yeah, they do unbelievable dips every night.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's insane.
Yeah.
I was complaining about fitting in the seat because I was in a very bad seat. There was legitimately this like
Mike's
2.5
giant,
inches
so he can't-
of space
A
between
giant
the end
who
of the
loves
chair and the
Broadway.
other one. And I was like, this is crazy. And as soon as I wedge in, within the 2 seconds, I was like, I'll be all right. I'm going to be fine. I apologize. I apologize to everyone around me for making such a fuss.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you talked about that. We talked to Christopher Henry Young about this same thing, about how kind of like as shows have gotten a little more acrobatic, like we were talking about, like, you know, Water for Elephants and things like that. We have circus performers. It's like there's got to be something in place because they're not dancing.
No.
We're flipping.
No.
We're doing all kinds of stuff, and how we have to make sure that we are taking care of people in a way that maybe we didn't know that we needed to before, because we're tapping and we're doing this.
Or
but
didn't
it's like,
have to. Yeah, didn't have to
But I'm
before,
like,
yeah.
if you got somebody aerial spinning, if you have people bending back, you got to have somebody in place that's going to be like, we need to crack you before you go. Like you need to, like,
and I would say
take care.
it's also a question for how people are trained in college, right?
Yeah.
And like college is being really specific with students about what is the path you're trying to go on.
Yeah, where you want to go.
And being really clear about what is the industry landscape currently, what does it mean to be a Broadway performer today, what are the challenges, is that what you want to do? And if so, do we have a program that actually is conditioning the body, the mind, the spirit to do that, as opposed to just educating in terms of historical information and you know, which is all great, and
But how do
giving
you teach
performance
the
opportunities,
stamina
but how do
for
you teach the
H's?
stamina?
Yeah. And that's a lot of people that are actors that say that they're also teachers. It's like that's what they say. They're like, that's my focus, because you can this, that, and the other. You can take your voice lessons. You can learn all about, you know, whatever,
Auditioning,
the history,
all of that's great.
all of it, like slate your name, all this stuff. Can you do this as many times as you need to do this? Infinity, if you're in a show that runs for, like, you know what I mean?
And
like,
a person who can't do that doesn't mean they're not a great artist.
it doesn't. It just means that it's a different
Yeah, it's just not the thing your instrument can do.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me Coke. Okay, I have a question, because I again, like I mentioned, I think it's fascinating that you know, I watched these interviews where you and Bill were talking about the boundaries and things like that you guys had to go through with Andrew Lloyd Webber's to get the rights. And you made such a good point. You're like, you know, we went in there, we thought we were going to change the music, but you changed the music, you changed that, then you're not Cats. So that you were not allowed to touch the music.
Yeah.
But if you could, what song would you fuck up first?
Ooh, that's a good question.
If you could, where were you like, I want to get my hands on this?
Probably Skimbleshanks.
Yep. The Railway Cat?
The Railway Cat, because I
Railway
remember
Cat.
there was a moment where we were developing that number, and I just kept thinking of the song, "Come on, ride that train." Tonight and woo, woo. And I just like wanted the whole song to be like, I wanted it
That
to
vibe.
be that vibe.
Yes.
And I wanted
To have people
it to,
just do
yeah,
this,
the
like,
whole,
in a
just like,
line.
I wanted like, can the audience be in a train?
Yes.
And I remember we were thinking about all kinds of like trains, like the Soul Train line.
Soul Train line.
You know, can we do a Soul Train line with Skimbleshanks?
Yeah.
That was a hard number to crack. It was a
Sure.
very easy number to say, I think Skimbleshanks is, you know, connected to the MTA, but then to make that like real in the space is very difficult. So yeah, I would say I would give Skimbleshanks the full remix.
A full remix.
Yeah.
Skimbleshanks. Well, I like that answer. I also want to know, you guys worked with a gender consultant.
Yes, she was also our dramaturg.
Okay.
So Josie Kearns, yeah.
What I guess I've never heard of it. Much like, when I interviewed Ann James, I'd never heard about an intimacy or sensitivity coach. So what is the role of a gender consultant, and why did you guys feel like it was important for this show?
Well, we knew we would have a company of actors who were playing characters with a wide range of gender expressions, because our company has a wide range of gender expressions. So it was a mix of like, how do we conceive each cat as a human, and what gender is that cat?
Right.
And having someone on the team who could help guide us through hitting the mark in terms of what our intentions were. So Josie really helped establish some standards in terms of like, how can we look at this company of bodies on stage in a new way? If you look at the original production, it's a lot of female presenting cats singing about male cats.
Sure.
Which might not be something that like a cisgender person might immediately register
like
or
clock,
notice or clock. I definitely didn't. And so how do we fuck with that or mess with that in terms of what we do? Thinking about how does the story change if you go from a male presenting McCavity off Broadway to a female presenting McCavity who is a trans woman on Broadway? What does it do? What does it start to ask us to think about?
Yeah.
And so she was a real asset and service to us behind the table in terms of really pushing and challenging us to think about gender as expansively as possible, to think about how female bodies and women are represented in the show as much as possible. And then also as a service to the cast as well. So if people have questions about pronouns or, being someone who could be there to hold space when like we're not achieving our greatest level of respect for pronouns or gender expression.
Sure.
But then also was there from the very, very beginning. She was helping Bill Rauch, crack that initial pitch deck, and really worked with us the whole way through to help us figure out what is this? What is it actually? Yeah.
Yeah, because I know also you've said before that like you part of it is like you like to watch the audience kind of figure out, and you like to watch them be confronted with things that they are possibly feeling. And like, so when you guys have the talk like in the room though, is there something that you guys agree on? You're like, this is what we're trying to make them feel. Like I know you talk about joy a lot, but like when you guys were there, you're like, I want the audience. This is what we think the audience is going to be confronted with and feel.
Well, we knew it had to feel like a ball.
Right.
Like we just knew it had to feel like an event was happening.
Like an event.
And I remember at the beginning, it was like, there was a moment where it was a little too much like us trying to make a documentary because we were trying to be too literal about everything.
Sure.
And we were like, well, Paris is Burning already exists. And some of these other it's not a documentary.
Yeah.
And then there was moments where it was like we were trying to make it too musical theater. And it was like, but it's not really even that. Yeah. And so there was a moment where, and Bill talks about it a lot, where like the kind of guidepost became, it has to work for ballroom and it has to work for cats. Whatever choice we make has to work for both things. And if it doesn't work for the other, we can't do the choice. And what that ended up doing is kind of creating this third event.
Right.
That's how I talk about it.
Yeah.
That, we almost started to think in terms of circus. Particularly off Broadway, that there's this other thing that's happening that's neither exclusively cats or exclusively musical theater, it's not exclusively ballroom, and it's breaking rules in both directions but still reaching towards each other. George Wolfe has this amazing quote that I think about all the time, which is that like the musical is a folk form and it's very, very fragile, and it works best when you take people whose imaginations are unbelievable and they're so much more talented than the form maybe. You put them inside the form and then you ask them to push against the boundaries. And if they break all the rules, it doesn't work. But if they don't break any of the rules, it also doesn't work. That somehow musical theater thrives at the tension. And this whole process was like tension. Yeah.
Well, did ALW see it and like say like you guys did great with the boundaries that we set? Like, what has been his his kind of reaction to this interpretation of his work?
His estate has been with us the entire process, and especially helping us crack. Okay, how do we add the ballroom beats for the moments that really need that authenticity, versus how do we keep the score in its integrity? And so we really found that answer dramaturgically. It was like when we're competing, the score stops and the beats start. And when we're not competing, the score starts again, because that is the story.
Right.
And that's not the competition. And ballroom is a world and not just the competition. Yeah. And so that was a huge breakthrough moment, but that was because Andrew was very, very he was like, do what you want. My music has to sound amazing.
Right.
And that was very clear from the very beginning. And I remember off Broadway, a lot of people would be like, they sound amazing. And I would be like, we have
like,
no
it's in the
choice.
contract.
Like, it was going to sound amazing. Like, there's no...
You're like, we were told
it will be sounding amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And so...
Success.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah.
And he really was hands-off kind of dramaturgically in terms of the type of story we were trying to tell with Cats, and really hands-on about the things that we needed to be hands-on about.
Yeah.
And he came, I remember the night he came to see the off-Broadway production for the first time. He hadn't seen it until after it opened and it got reviews and all that was going on. And it was a crazy night. It was like, it was that scene in Devil Wears Prada where Stanley is like, gird your loins, and everyone's on walkie-talkies, and, the eagle has landed.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm watching the show and I'm watching him and I'm watching the show and I'm watching him and I'm watching.
Which was awkward because you were right next to him the whole time.
Right. I was sitting on his lap.
Holding hands.
He's sitting AC Slater style. Turn around.
Backwards in the chair. Oh, does he give it up? Does he give you anything like when he's watching the show, or is he just stone faced?
Well, the first time it was a real good poker face.
Oh, damn.
But I think he was gagged by the reaction of the audience. I think more than anything, he couldn't believe the room was doing what it was doing.
I mean, look at what has happened within the last couple shows for him. Like, we've got the immersive Phantom that is now. So we've brought Phantom. We've got Cats. Sunset Boulevard was a huge, people loved the reimage. So it's his work that feels so...
Starlight Express.
Avita, it feels so, on its face, still so old, but it's reinventing. His work is reinventable, I guess.
It is. And I think we are living in a time where we all get to see that. You need time.
Must be cool for him to
learn that, this is what I made. This is what my material does.
Yeah.
And I think that...
And he's a DJ now, so he's contemporary.
He's a DJ. So he knows what's hot.
He's Diplo.
Yeah, basically.
He's Andrew Lloyd Diplo.
Andrew Lloyd Diplo. We will be doing Jesus Christ Superstar at,
in the
Coachella.
Alley. Yeah,
It'll
at
be
Coachella,
great.
of course. But no, you're right. It must be cool to for him to be able to watch it, the work that he's created expand to this new people.
And not every composer is down for that. Not every estate is down for that. I mean, I think he's actually creating an unbelievable precedent that's do you want your work to live on or do you not? Do you want it to find new audiences or do you not? And
that's a great question.
I think what is helping it all connect is I think audiences want to be at an event. And his musicals, those kind of big spectacle musicals, were events.
Yeah.
And they had the kind of musical... I don't even know. I don't know any other composer where every single musical from a certain generation that he was writing in has a song that's the most popular song that ever existed in musical theater. How does that happen more than once?
Yeah,
it's happened 5-6 times in his career, and so it's just really interesting to see him in this moment. Him be able to see these new directors come up and really play with the material, and the music is good in all versions. That's the thing, the music doesn't change in Sunset Boulevard. It didn't change in Evita. It's not changing in Phantom. It is the score. So if anything, it's a showcase of his score.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to put this on Mars, and you will see that this
That
score
it's
will
fine.
still endure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me ask you a question.
That
So
makes sense.
We used to have a question where we would, because
Oh,
of
yeah, no,
Phantom. Do you have that as a question?
Oh, no, I have the cats question.
Oh,
We have our
that,
cats
yes, but I have a
question,
new
too.
one. I just
what's
thought
your
of
new
as we're
one?
sitting
Okay,
here.
okay.
So you used to say, Phantom is now immersive.
Yeah.
What play
Yeah.
do you think would make a bad
The
immersive?
worst immersive experience.
But my question is,
Uh-huh.
Cats works as a ballroom. What show do you think would make a bad ballroom interpretation?
what would make a bad
What show
ballroom?
would you not want to see as a ballroom show?
Les.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought.
War dancing.
You at the ballroom, now listen to this.
Yes.
You know.
You're in jail. Yeah, and their other question was what Jellicle cat are you most attracted to?
Define attraction.
Exactly.
Interesting. Nobody's asked us to define attraction. I guess, everybody says Tugger because everyone's like, oh, he moves around.
So that's like
but
sexual attraction.
yeah, what
Could be.
what cat are you most sexually attracted to?
I let me think about this.
In their hearts.
HR and James. In my actually, as a child.
Would you like to? What does she call kissing? Mouth touching?
Yeah.
Mouth touching or something like that. Which would you like to mouth touch
Mouth
with?
touch.
So something like
As
that.
a kid, I was really, really drawn to Mistopheles.
Ooh.
Because I was,
It's magical.
Mistopheles was magical.
It's fun to
and
say.
When I was watching the pro shot, he would jump in the air and he disappeared. And I thought that really happened because I didn't know anything about theater.
Yeah.
I remember when I
You're
saw
like-
the tour for the first time when I was in 5th grade, I was ready for the moment where he disappeared.
runs.
And they was and button. I was oh, okay. So that was not real.
That's when
That's
you
how I
learned that
learned
magic wasn't real.
what special effects were.
Oh no.
So I would say Mistopheles. That is the
Mistopheles.
one my soul is
Drawn
connected
to.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you Mistopheles. I want to ask you about directing a reimagined revival. Do you take in your directing style? Are you Is this different than when you're directing a newer work? What are the different kind of approaches that you take?
I know that it is objectively different,
Right.
Because
But are you the same kind of
I
do
think
you have the same
I'm
values and same
the
things?
same.
That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, I'm not gonna direct anything that doesn't scare me.
Sure.
So even if it's a revival, it's
Or
not
it's
like
in
I'm
Korea.
or if it's in Korea.
What's in Korea?
I'm not doing it because I'm a revival, that'll make it easier.
Right.
Because if it feels that way, I don't need to do it. Someone else can do it. So I think I'm attracted to the prompt of how to make this work.
Just in general.
Just in general.
Whether it's a new work, whether it's a revival, whether
Yeah.
it's in Korea.
There's
How
something
do I
I'm
make this
bringing to
work?
it
Yeah.
that has never happened before.
Great.
And so that element is the thing that makes it new and fresh for me.
Yeah.
Whether or not the audience knows the material or not. And so it is all about, for me, my way in. What is the event? How do I answer the question, why have I called you here? Who am I making this with? What is the room? How can I make a room that I've never seen before? Before I'm trying to make a show I've never seen before, I'm trying to make a room I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And that is the constant, whether it's a revival or a new work. Now I will say with the new work, you're working on it with a playwright or a writer.
Sure. So there's lots
And
of
that work is very
interpretations.
different, right? We
Yeah.
are in, draft after draft after draft. I directed a show last year called Little Miss Perfect that was written by an amazing artist named Jariah Kwame. But I got that script at first draft, and I think by the time we were at a world premiere, it was draft 20-something
Sure.
or whatever, maybe
Yeah.
even more than that. So that process is very distinctive. When I start on a revival, I'm not trying to ask Andrew Lloyd Webber, what are you really trying to say? What he's really trying to say, he said it. It's up to me to interpret what I know you're saying. When I'm working with a playwright or a writer on a new show, before I am trying to figure out what I am trying to say through the material, I really need to know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And you might not know it yet. So
Yeah.
my job is to create a process for you to know what you are trying to say, and then whether or not you want to say that.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to say that, then how do we build a process that takes you in a direction that's closer to what you're trying to say?
What you want to say.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important for as maybe somebody who is listening or just somebody who is interested in directing, that you go into a room with those questions with as many questions as you possibly can as to why I'm here, what are we doing, all that stuff. Like, are there directors that go in completely like, let's see what happened? Like, or do you, like, how important do you think it is to be like, you need to know what it is you're trying to accomplish before you step into a room?
You need to know what you're trying to accomplish, but you also need to know what you don't know yet and be loud and proud about it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that's the thing that people give you grace for.
Yeah.
If you're pretending as if you know it all and you know you don't, people can sense when you're doing your homework on them.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was an actor, that was one of the things I hated. I could tell if you didn't think long enough about this.
Yeah.
You just came in and now you're doing your homework on me.
Yeah.
And already there has to be a level of I don't know when you walk in because you're working with however many imaginations.
Sure.
And so it's a tricky balance of like being prepared and then being prepared to let it go. But you can't really get the grace of letting it go if you don't come in with some strong intention.
Yeah.
And, you know, some directors need to make little X's and people and, you know, map out every single thing.
Yeah.
And then some directors are more, it's like jazz. I'm coming in and I already know that, like, this goes like that and I know I can start here.
Yeah.
Or it's like cooking. I know like this is the base, and then now we're moving, and you just have to know what type you are so that you protect your room.
Yeah.
And I spent, you know, I've directed things, especially when I was much younger, where I needed to like put an X on a piece of paper, and on every single scene I needed to know, and I did that so much I can do a lot of that in my head.
Yeah.
So even when it doesn't look like that work is happening, it is happening.
Yeah.
And so at this point, it's like I need to come in knowing where I need to have a sense of where you're going to enter. I need to have a sense of where we're ending up, and a sense of like the why are we here?
Yeah.
What do I think is going on?
Yeah.
And then it's all about like bringing people into the unknown with me.
Yeah.
And making them feel safe through that, because I think my job is to kind of on a holistic level bring out something in the actor that they never knew they had in them.
Right.
And if I can't be vulnerable publicly,
Then they can't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, we talked to a lot of people about safety and and making people feel safe and just how important it is. And, you know, when you hear about those stories of people that say they had a terrible experience, like working with certain directors, you're like, God, that must, like, how it just seems like ruling with an iron fist, or like this is how it is going to go. Like, you're not going to get a good product. It just feels like you couldn't.
Or you'll get a world that is built on fascism. And I do believe, I know that's, you know, very strong words there, but
It's okay.
I do believe that an audience, even subconsciously, knows when they're watching a group of actors follow dictation versus when they're watching people in some other contract with each other. And because I can articulate it when I see that, there's nothing that disturbs me more in the theater is when I can tell that actor went there only because some other person thought they should go there.
And not because they were like,
that we all found it together. You know, not to keep saying George, but like, you know, George Wolfe has this philosophy that like, you can be a director that stands in the middle of the room and demands that you come to my vision.
Yeah.
Or you're another kind that kind of stands on the outskirts and uses all of these other methods of persuasion to get an actor to move in the direction you think is right. And in both versions, an actor might go stage left, but only in the second version will they bring with them their secrets. And so I'm invested in the secrets. And so it's whatever it takes to get that secret out, you know, because I think that's the thing that an audience is actually responding to, like the human spectacle, the human event. Like they have to go, I can't believe she's really breaking down like that.
Yeah.
Or I can't believe she really flipped over that chair. Or like in a certain way, an audience doesn't even need to know what action an actor is playing. They just need to register that something is actually happening.
Yeah. Because I think we all hate to watch something that feels acting. It's like, I love watching shows. I love watching theater. But if I know they're acting, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know they're acting.
Yeah.
But if I know they're acting, you're
Right.
like, well, it's a little bit annoyed. Now, I don't know if this is a thing. And this is probably not a thing. But like, would you get approached to do more revivals, or people like, let's see what he's got for State Fair? Like, what is that? Like,
Yeah,
is
that's
that like a
happened.
thing? Has it happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like, take this one. Do
Not with
this.
State Fair.
But they're like, now do this.
And that's human nature.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's my job to remember the artist.
Yeah.
And there are other revivals I want to do for sure.
Ooh, like what?
I don't know if we can go there yet.
Okay.
Some
Let's
stuff.
just do the ones that you aren't doing.
Right,
Yes.
right. So State Fair. There are some revivals that are in the works that I feel like really, really passionate about, trying to excavate something new and exciting. But my approach to them was not the same as someone like emailing me and being like, you know what you could do?
Yeah.
You should do,
Yeah.
Rent, but, make
Cats.
them all, right, cats or whatever.
But the dogs. Yeah.
But they've paid their rent.
Yes.
But
the rich. And you're like,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We're going too far.
Yeah.
But is it too? Who knows?
Who knows?
But,
And I think our most important tool is to expand the imagination. And
Yeah.
so if people are expanding their imagination, great. But no, that's not my approach, is to just, and I think also people, and I get why
Sure.
they say this, but it's like, okay, what show are you going to flip next? What show are you going to
well,
flip
that's
next?
why I was wondering if that was like a thing.
And it's like,
yeah,
my
human
intention
nature.
with Cats was not to flip Cats. It was to answer the prompt,
Why
putting
again?
Cats in ballroom together, what
Yeah.
would happen?
Yeah.
So that's the prompt. And all I have is the material.
Yeah.
So I'm just interpreting the material how I would interpret it. And in this case, the perception of it is this completely flipped thing. But I remember when Ken Page, R.I.P. Ken Page, who played the original Old Deuteronomy, he saw the show off Broadway. And afterwards, he hugged me and he cried on my shoulder and he said, y'all didn't forget the spirituality.
Oh.
But who would expect that he would say that about
Yeah.
Cats? Which is to say that something deeply embedded in the material even then
Yeah.
was what he was responding to in our production now.
Yeah.
So it was never about diverting people in an opposite direction, but trying to figure out, okay, so what was going on in the world that people really paid attention to this material then, and what's going on now, and how do we use this material to figure it out? you know?
That's so interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to pitch State Fair maybe to Bill then. See if he likes
It
it.
might be down.
I have a question for you about, I read this. Is it still true that you go home once a year to direct community theater?
Yeah.
I love that, first off. What do you think that you learn there that you bring back? Because I'm sure there's a million things from here that you can bring to there. But what do you learn when you go back and do community theater to bring back to the big stages?
Well, the first thing I'll say is when in my first few years working or living in New York, I had gotten a part-time job at a call center. I was really bad.
As we all have.
And I had just turned it into my own. My little cubicle is like my own production company.
Yes.
I don't think I got any student through the application process. I was like reading scripts and like pretending like I was,
Doing characters.
Right. And I was
Yes,
like,
you have
hello.
to.
And whatever.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
And I remember a month in, I got a call from my home theater, and they were like, would you like to come direct and choreograph Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Of course.
I was like, let me call my job, let them know this opportunity is happening. It's like, so my community theater called, and they want me to do Joseph. And
They
so
need me to
they
do
need
it.
me to do
They
Joseph.
need me to
I'm
do it,
directing
yeah.
and choreographing Joseph. And so I'm going to go do that. But if I do it, when I come back, can I just like, I'll start back up or whatever? And they were like, that's not how jobs work. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but they can.
They could.
They could, for sure.
And
You're
so
right. I
it's
should go
like-
through my training program again. Hello? All right, I'm back.
Right.
Up to speed.
I just went and did it.
Yeah.
And when I did it, my intention was if I make something that if I made something down here in Louisiana, with a community theater, with a community theater budget, that I wouldn't be embarrassed to show in New York.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Then I can come to New York and just direct. Then I know I have what it takes.
Yeah.
And which is crazy, but that's what I was feeling. And that happened. And like I directed Joseph and came back and never worked a part-time job again.
Good for you.
But what I get from down there are these like really hard skills about directing, how to stay on schedule.
Sure.
There's no time in community theater. You have 6 to 9 every day. Everyone's coming from work.
Yeah. They
you
gotta
can't
go home.
go back. They gotta go home.
Yeah.
It's a school night. So you got 6 to 9.
You gotta
so
get
you gotta
shit done.
plan out that schedule.
Yeah.
You have to get it done. So that's something, you know, I can learn in the community, or I learned in the community theater, but I continue to like get my muscles primed around. You'll never have enough money. Like that's not even we're starting at there's nothing. We're starting at there's $7. So there's no even dream of, and then we went to budget and then we had to pull it back. No, it's $7 and there's paint and there's foam board and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so creating things that feel creatively satisfying without being reliant on excess is a muscle that I've built in the community theater. So when I, you know, make something up here and a producer or a GM team is like, this is really great, you got to knock off 50,000. It's like, all right,
got it.
let's figure that out.
Sure.
You know, because that feels like a privilege.
Yeah.
Compared to, you know, growing up doing community theater. I think working with people, just people skills. You know, I'm working with people who, some of them have acting training, some of them don't. Some of them, they just want to do this to have fun.
They just want to do it.
And so remembering that it has to be fun. You know, that like...
It's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun. These people are doing this for free. They're
From
getting
6 to 9.
off of work.
Yes.
And they want to just come and express themselves and have fun. So continuing to work on how I build a room that can do that. And then it helps me artistically in that when you make something in your hometown, you know who's going to be out there.
Yeah.
So when you make a choice about a show that you're going to do, you know you're making it for your mother and your teacher and your pastor and your classmates and your whatever.
You know the audience.
You know the audience. And so if I'm doing something to try to disrupt that audience, I'm trying to disrupt people I know.
Yeah.
And so it's a much more personal thing.
Interesting.
Whereas
Very
if I'm
interesting.
directing here, if I go to LA or whatever,
Who knows who's
the
gonna be?
audience is this broad idea of the audience.
It's not your mom.
It's not my mom. You know. And I think that builds a certain kind of courage in, you know, how you express yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. And it feels like it's very practical to bring back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like I said, it's like feel like obviously there's stuff that you would learn to bring to the small, but like the small to the big feels like actually stuff that makes a ton of sense to implement on a bigger stage.
The small to the big gives you the stamina to survive the big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. And I don't know if this is superstitious or not, but have you and Bill or the creative team talked about kind of any type of celebration? Should the big Tony come in? Are you guys just like, you know what? Let's just go have our champagne and our dinner and enjoy the night.
We're having a hang here Tony night.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
doing like a little
come
party.
by
If you want
after.
to come here,
Are
to
y'all
watch
really
the
having a
Tonys
party?
from here.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to bring the kids.
Do you want to come here instead? I mean, it's up to you.
You guys
Totally
could have
up
the
to you.
Cats after party in
In
the studio.
here.
Yeah, we could.
You
Mike's
just throw
got
a ball.
Yeah, why not?
Mike's got a lot of whiskey.
I have a lot of bourbon, and I will throw every piece of furniture out the window to make room.
Yeah, and there'll be children, and it'll be
My baby's here. One will be crawling, one will be crying.
It's
probably
kind of like
It'll be
Radio
great.
City, Podcast City. I think we're gonna party either way,
You got to party either way.
and I don't even feel like nerves or weird about like it's like it could happen,
It could not happen.
and that's cool, or it could not happen.
But we're going. We're getting people.
But there
see
will
that we
be a
did
party.
thing. There will be a party.
and I will be partying.
Good for you. What's your
Yeah.
drink
What's
of
the
choice?
first drink? Damn.
Yeah.
we did not plan that.
Both of us alcoholics. Like, what are you gonna drink?
What are you gonna drink?
What are you gonna party with?
That's a good question. I don't drink so much anymore. I mean, I do drink, but it's like I don't know what but probably like some kind of whiskey situation.
There you go.
Some brown.
Some kind of brown
Get the
liquor on
party
the
started.
rocks.
Yeah.
Get the party started.
Oh, yeah.
Warm the belly.
That's right.
Warm the mind.
Yeah.
Whiskey goes straight to my eyes. That's why you like it. You're
I
like,
love
and
it.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel it in my skull.
You feel it directly in your head.
Okay, we did it.
Well, Zhailon, you are lovely. Thank you. I'm so glad that we got to do this
Thank
before
you.
Break Legs on Sunday.
Thank you,
I
you.
am so excited for the success of Cats. Obviously, Mike's got a fun story about his sister real
Oh
quick.
yeah, so my sister, one of the greatest singers I've ever seen, and has no confidence in it.
Oh.
She's burning her life to the ground in Georgia and moving up here.
Uh-huh.
But prior to her making that decision, she spent 2 weeks living with me and my wife.
Yeah.
And we were just like taking her around, just doing the normal
Seen a bunch
thing.
of shows.
We took her to, and she was like, I don't really like musicals anymore, but I think she was lying to herself because she couldn't stay involved in it. We took her to Cats the first time I'd seen it. We all saw it together, and I watched her watch the show and make the decision, oh, I'm here now.
To move to New York.
And watching
love that.
Jellicle Ball, she was like, this is it.
She's like, my people.
My people are here. And I think at that moment she went, oh, I'm coming.
Wow.
And I'm like, I cannot be more excied for her.
So you're also
that.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're bringing
Hopefully I
people
get
to
to
meet your
chase their
sister.
dreams. Yeah. She'd pass out.
She would freak out.
Yeah.
But please tell people how they can find you and support you besides obviously going to see Jellicle Ball and other productions. And wait, is Table 17 coming here?
It's coming to London.
Say less.
I
Say
will
less.
say less.
I'll go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
But there'll be
Soon?
many fun announcements soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to plan. I'm trying to plan my rent trip. So, if you
Yeah.
can make it open around rent, I can do all of them.
Amazing.
Do it for me, please.
I think I am.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. But yes, how can people support you, follow you?
Yeah, just follow me at Zhailon on Instagram, on the socials. DM me, say what's up.
Say what's up.
Yeah.
We love that. Nobody's ever been like, DM me. We like it. He's an approachable person. So thank you very much. And follow the podcast. Follow me, K-Space B. Follow Big Man Mike. Rate, review, subscribe. Do all the stuff. Like us on YouTube. We're on there now. So thank you so much. And goodbye. Happy Tony's
Hey,
week.
turn up.
Yay! Oh, thank
you.
you so much.